we're recording. Yeah, we are. Hello and welcome to the 56th IQ session. And today is called The World Outside Your Window. The beautiful Tania Popplestone is hosting tonight and going to share her wisdom and all the beautiful things that are on her heart, which is super, super exciting. So I'm going to keep my blabbing to a minimum tonight.
Thank you.
Shut up, Matt. And I'm going to throw it straight to Teapot. Teapot, we love you and we're super excited to hear what you want to share with us tonight. Take it. I'm going to make you the host so you can take it away.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And making host. There you go. I've made you the host.
I'm the host now.
Roll.
So is it quite normal that when you get thrown to being the host that just all your thoughts go out of your head?
100%. In the deep end.
I'm surrounded by notes and my thoughts have just gone into my boots. That's pressure, isn't it?
He loves it. She eats it for breakfast.
Diamonds made under pressure. Thanks, Shez. So when Shez invited me to do this or asked me to do this, my first thought was, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then her following comment was, don't overthink it. Everybody, I think, probably knows that little bit about me is that I can naturally be a bit of an overthinker. So I've tried to definitely not do that, but I've certainly done what I can to be prepared so that I don't, so that I stay on track for you. But what I'm actually here to is just share my heart. The things that I want to share tonight have been something that's been quite important to me for many, many years. Long before I even started the journey of being a PT, like that whole career change, there's always been a bit of a burning in my heart. Not a bit, there's definitely always been a burning in my heart for women, for mums, for every time I hear them trash talking themselves, every time I hear them sort of making themselves and shrinking, those comments that just make themselves little, it's always sort of got under my skin. And so I'm really grateful to now be in a position where I'm positioned to be able to hopefully change, be part of the story of women changing that for themselves. So titling this evening, World Outside Your Window, Don't Let It Pass You By. There's two sort of elements to that particular title that you would initially have. Obviously, hopefully it brings up some kind of visual for you because you would possibly be that person sitting inside the window looking out. So there's that element of person sitting inside, and then there's the element of the world outside just doing its thing. And what we want to do is make sure that the person inside is living in a congruent way, living in a healthy way, living in a positive way, so that they actually want to get outside that window and take part. They want to get outside and they know that they're going to be able to influence people. They know that they're just, that they're in a good place. But there's so many things that we do as sitting inside that window that can become a blocker of that. So before we start, what I actually need you to do is we're going to do a bit of an exercise so that I can sort of drum a little bit of a point home, is I need you to grab a piece of paper and a pen, pretty please. Run and go. So what you'll need is maybe an A4 piece of paper. If you've only got little pieces of paper, that's fine. You might need a few of them. But what we'll be doing is, it's probably a bit bright, is you're going to be drawing two people. 2 stick figures is fine, but we need some space in their bellies to be able to write some things or put some things in there before. Can you see that? And those little stick figures you're going to title. One is going to be me and one is going to be an adored person. It puts me off a little bit since it's in the reverse. So I don't know which way you're seeing it. I feel like one of those grid girls that hides their thumbs up and doesn't know which way to turn it. All right, so we're going to do that. So once you've got a bit of piece of paper, if you can draw your stick figures, please, and title them. Now, I don't want you to title it adored person. I want you to title it someone that you adore. We all have someone in our life who just, who makes us feel safe. They make us feel good. We want them to thrive and succeed in life, and we would do anything to help them do that. That's your adored person. And I want you to title it. I want you to put their name underneath there, because it's going to make sense what we're going to do to them shortly. You also need small pieces of paper, about yay big, because we're going to put them inside. Sorry, that's a bit glary. They're going to go inside your adored person and your body. All right. So what we'll do is, the first thing I want you to do is think of 3 words for your adored person. They are words that whenever you see them, that you would hope that they know that that's very true of them. When they're not around you, that you know that when they go to work, when they go to school, when they go anywhere in their world, you would want them to actually own these words, and they're the things that you love about them. So for my adored person, I would want them to feel loved, accepted, and limitless. So they're the things that I would want my adored person. Oh, I'm losing perspective here. I've got it on me. My adored person is when they go outside of their window and they're actually out living in their world. I want them to have this in the forefront of their mind. I want to have that in their heart. I want them to be able to experience that in every encounter that they have. Under every pressure that they have, I want them to be able to know that they are loved, they're accepted, and that they're limitless. Right, so you need to have those 3 words, please, for your adored person. Now, we're going to now jump away from that adored person, and we're going to think about ourselves. There is, I think I'll draw back to the experience that I had recently that I may have shared, some of you may have heard. The other morning, I woke up fat. Woke up feeling really fat. It wasn't the reality, but it was my reality. And there was a lot of words that I said to myself when I was in that state. So I want you to take yourself to that state, because I'm quite certain, and we've got 2 guys here, which I kind of was a little bit, I reckon, unprepared, but I can't speak for you guys. Us ladies often have fat days. We wake up and nothing looks right. We feel like we've gained 15, 20 kilos overnight, and we actually literally believe it. So I don't know what that feels like for you guys, but there's probably times maybe in your work situation or those sorts of things when you start talking down on yourself. This is what I want you to put yourself in that position. The words that you speak over yourself when you're feeling really crappy, you have to write 3 of those down, and you need to be brutally honest. So the other morning when I woke up and everything I put on, all I could think of was I was old, ugly, and tired. You look tired, nothing's going to make any difference. Don't bother doing your hair again, because you've already done it 500 times and you still look old, ugly, and tired. They were the things that I spoke over myself. And they were the things that I then wore all day. Old, ugly, and tired. Taking that off. So 3 words, be honest. Now, I want you to take your 3 words, please, and put them on your adored person. My fingers are not big enough. How does it feel putting those words onto your adored person? If it's your child, should they be wearing those words? When I think of my child, I actually don't want to do that, because it makes me feel a bit crook to think of them walking around with that on their day, or that in their heart. Why is it okay then to wear that on our heart? How often do we do that? And sadly, there are so many women, people out there that are doing this every single day. And it's not cool. So what we want to do is to be able to break the state and to be able to be in a point where the things that we can say about other people, but they're loved and accepted and limitless, can we be in a state where it's okay for us to be able to feel that ourselves? Now, also when we feel that ourselves, there is a good chance and almost 100% chance that we are going to present to our world very, very differently. Excuse me. All right, now I need to go to my other notes to see where I'm heading from here. So the point of what I'm sort of need to get to from here, and is that now that you can understand, and when you put it into perspective of, would you allow someone that you love, someone that you know has masses of potential, someone that you know that when they get outside their window and they are with that world that is passing by the window, that they're actually kicking goals, they're making a massive difference in the world. What we want to do is be able to do that for ourselves, because when we get outside the window, we are going to be able to make a difference one way or another, negative or positive. Depends what we've said to ourselves in the start of the day. And I firmly believe that what we say to ourselves at the start of the day is what we will then present as we encounter people in our world. So I believe that I've just jotted down that there's 5 things that we can do to make a difference, to give ourselves a better start. And the first thing is actually to develop a love of moving. It's been my personal experience, and I'm seeing it with so many other people, that when they develop a love of moving, then they develop a lifestyle around moving, and the moving starts to sort and shift some things in their life. So when I woke up and I was feeling old, ugly and tired, and I was speaking that over myself, I knew that moving would help me feel better. And I had a choice to how quickly I applied that in my day. And I knew it would work, but not applying it sooner than I did. I didn't apply the moving until 7:30 at night. So I went through 12 hours of feeling old, ugly and tired, and presented myself to my world feeling old, ugly and tired. That meant that my day sucked way more than it needed to be. That meant that my language continued. It meant that I didn't give my world the best that I could have given for 12 hours. But the other thing too is, now that, because I have a love of moving, I know that the choice that I had, it gave me a bit of hope, because even though I kept speaking ugly, old, tired, I knew that it was coming. I knew that, I'm going to do lift tonight. There was times that I didn't want to do it. I was looking for the excuses. The mind was trying to give me a buyout, but I was disciplined enough and had the hope enough to know that once I moved, it would shift what I was feeling. And it did. I knew it. That old, you never regret a workout, it actually is true. And once you are consistently doing it and you have a love for exercise, it becomes truth to you, because you will never regret a workout, because it's physically different. It changes something in you. Point number 2, you will develop trust in yourself that you can make a good choice, and that will then help to change your state in the mood. Change your state and your mood. So developing a love for moving will develop a trust in yourself to know that you have a tool to apply when you wake up and you have a moment like that. When you hit a roadblock during the day and it just suddenly fills you with a massive self-doubt, you've got a trust in yourself, because you know that moving is a tool that you can apply. It's a choice that you've got. Point number 3 is consistency. When you've developed a love for moving, when you developed a trust in yourself because you do it and you know that it works, you then will be consistent with it because it rewards you. What we need to do is to stop expecting that one effort is going to fix it all. It's not. One effort is not enough. It's better than no effort, but it's not enough. It's the consistency that is going to be able to help shift your efforts into lifestyle, and it's your lifestyle that's then going to be able to help change your mindset, because you love moving, you trust yourself, and you're going to apply it. And all of the benefits that come from health and exercise, which we've spoken to over in the IQs, they will always compound, they will always reward you. So it's a compound effort, and it has to be consistent. I think half of the problem is that we have done, we've done one diet, or we've done one workout, or we've done one effort of, 10,000 steps. And then we sort of check out going, okay, it sort of worked, but then the next day, nothing's changed. But the next day, but what you want to do is be able to consistently give yourself an option, give yourself something to measure against, which is that feeling that you can have some hope that when that struggle comes, you will then apply it. And hopefully you will apply it sooner than what I did the other day. Don't wait 12 hours, apply it sooner. All I needed to do was start boxing the air for 10 seconds. And I knew that I could have broken the state. I chose not to. And it wasn't necessary. But it's what we do. And I would hope that we actually start to change that in our days. And what will happen then also, our fat days, those things that seem to raise those doubts in ourselves quite frequently, or they're our triggers, they will become fewer and far between. If we are consistent in applying the love for moving, developing a trust in ourselves. The fourth step, which I believe is one of the biggest things, is to be in community, to stop doing it alone. How many people do we know that are sort of encouraged by what you're doing? Because a number of you, almost all of you here, are consistent in what you're doing, and you have known, and you can speak of the benefits of being consistent in your exercise, in being more healthy, having more vitality in your days, in just the way that you present yourself. How many people are encouraged by that and comment on it? But then they won't join you because they haven't started the journey yet, and they haven't got the experience to draw on. So the community is where they can thrive. The community is outside the window. They're what these people are doing. They're still sitting on the inside of the window, just watching it all pass by. They don't know what it's like out there to actually have that endorphin rush. They don't know what it's like to actually then all of a sudden reach that goal, or feel so damn scared in the middle of something that at the end, it was nothing but powerful. They don't have that experience yet because they're still sitting on the inside of the window, haven't stepped out and joined the community. So it builds resilience. It builds a muscle of self-belief that when we get into a community and we start having fun with it, it just takes the sting out of what seems so intimidating and what seems to never work because we've only applied one effort to it and didn't get what we exactly wanted because we want it now or we want it yesterday. The community, I believe, is 100% where you're going to grow. And that's what we want to be able to encourage, not only ourselves, but also our adored person. If we start seeing these kind of traits, if they start speaking of that kind of stuff, are we in a position and believe this about ourselves enough and believe this about the process of having a healthy, fit and strong lifestyle? Are we in a position to be able to start to interject and start to talk and love on them and share with them and invite them? We're not inviting our friends. And I don't know what it is, but I think we should be starting to invite our friends into a world where they can change their state and change their language about what they believe in themselves. It doesn't have to, and even our workmates or something like that, a conversation where you hear someone just talking down on themselves and not ever fully experiencing the things that they would love to do. And, are we staying quiet? Are we inviting them into the community? I think we could do better. And what have they got to lose? What did you lose when you started to get healthy, fit and strong? I didn't lose anything. Actually, I lost maybe some things that weren't any good for me. I lost some weight, but I gained a whole lot more. But I didn't do it to lose weight. The weight was just the reward. And I think that's what we also need to remind ourselves and remind everyone else, that the developing the love for moving, the developing the trust in ourselves, being consistent is where the body then starts to become the reward of it, and it becomes that coat hanger. So that's also another reason why those fat days are fewer and far between. Because our body is just a bit as more of a machine instead of being a result of sitting by the window and not actually participating and actively being part of our worlds. And fifth point is to stop expecting it to be perfect, stop expecting it to be complete, and stop expecting it to be easy. It's a journey, it's a lifestyle, and that's why, the transformation challenges that we've done, it's proof that every single challenge, someone grows a little bit more. The first challenge, we learn a whole lot, like it's like boom, rips off some band-aids and, we might be weeping a little bit and that sort of stuff. But then we fix that scar. And then we're like, right, we're ready to learn the next thing. We know what to expect. We're ready to go a bit deeper. We're ready to go a bit deeper. And before you know it, you're a machine that is just hungry and thirsty to learn more and just loving being in a community. So I want to finish. I'm almost finished. I feel like I lost my mind there a little bit, and hopefully I've covered all my points. But one of my favourite quotes that sort of struck out, it sort of hit me in the face a few years ago. It says that she believed she could and the game changed. The quote does not say she did it once, game over. I am not done. I am not fat. I have got a lot of work to go to be able to make sure I've got fewer and fewer fat days, as everyone does. But there's no way that I'm going to accept that and then just sit back on this side of the window. My world needs me. The world outside the window is so much better, got so much to offer me, but it's because I can offer my world so much as well that I owe myself and I owe my world to be able to then be able to wear those words that I would put on my adored person. Think of 3 words that you would love your adored person to say to you. How easy is it to think of those things about ourselves? We all want it. We all know what they are. Don't be humble now. There's 3 things that you would hope that someone could, that you respect, that they could then turn around to you and say, that chick, for me, I want them to say she's strong, she's caring, and she's reliable. I'd love for them to not stop at the 3 words. And imagine if I had those words on my little dress. They had those words. Together as a community, elbow slipped off, as a community, we'd be strong. We'd be so super powerful. So then the next person that came in and made this more than just us 2, we would be completely radiating something different. And we would want that next person to know that they're 3 words that they should be wearing. And I think it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's where the community is super important. If we're not representing that, then our community is broken. If we're not receptive to being able to believe those things about ourselves, then we're going to be less effective in our community. And our community is our workplace, it's our gym, it's our church, it's our kids' school. I love, one of my clients has been, loving and speaking to one of her, a girl that she just talks to when she drops the kids off. And she's been influencing her by just getting on her journey, losing weight, working hard and loving what she's doing. And she's able to honestly share what it's changing in her life. And it's sparking interest for her friend. that's what community can do. So we need to be able to be a bit more receptive of the positivity, believe it, and then wear that on our shirt so that we can then influence our world and we can get outside that window. So just want you all to encourage you, please, to look outside and don't hide your light. Don't stay inside and start to speak nicer to yourself, but invite your friends and encourage them to be free of that sort of toxic talk, which is natural if we're haven't got an alternative to draw on. And that alternative is get a love for moving, develop the trust in yourself, be consistent at it so that it becomes lifestyle and it just becomes so normal. Be in the community, thriving in the community so that you're seeing the rest of your people that you love being in community, and stop expecting it to be perfect, because it's a personal journey and it's a great journey, but you've got to actually get outside and start taking part. That's me. So I am going to, how do I open up to any questions? We put it in the chat. Anyone got anything that they want to share? You know what I'd love to hear? Has anyone got the courage to be able to share their 3 words from the negative to the words that they'd rather hear? All right, Mac, you're muted. Hold on. Can you unmute yourself, Dean? I can't read that. I'm in my 40s.
You can unmute it?
Yeah.
40s. All right, Ollie.
I'm not old, I'm strong and I'm caring.
How's Des? What do we got?
Drawing.
For me? Thanks. That's my stick figure. For me, dumb, slow and embarrassing. For adored person, loved, respected and cool.
Excellent. And are they the words, the adored, respected and cool, are they the words that you want spoken over you, that you want to wear on your shirt?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
I like to be cool.
You are cool.
Thanks. I love you too. Do you want me to mute?
Yeah, you can mute. Anyone else want to come on, but you don't have to tell me that you love me. You don't have to. Oh, Melinda. Hang on, let me open that chat, gorgeous. How do you help a friend who is always talking negatively about themselves? What I would ask first, how are you at talking positively about yourself? I think it matters how much light we're shining as well. So being able to be so okay with talking positively about yourself sort of might outline and might highlight how much she talks negatively about herself. But don't be afraid to actually pull them up and to give them an alternative. Like, so if they're sort of, you know, example, would it be, you know, if they're saying I'm fat, you know, what would be an alternative to share with her and actually catch her out so that she can, and not in a calling her out like you're, you know, what are you doing? You're always saying that, but just give her a gentle alternative each time she says it. And it might hopefully make her be aware of how much, and also just speak those words over her so that they start to be the alternative for her. And then that might be a bit of a self-conscious. I'm not a therapist, but I think it's just change that self-conscious thing so that she starts to have a difference at that time. So the more someone says that to, you know, has that experience of the alternative, then it might just chip away and take away that sting, and she might stop saying it around you. I'd love to, yeah, I might come back to you with some more alternatives on that, Melinda, but I think just being that alternative, and if you join and entertain that kind of conversation and going, oh, I know, I feel really crappy too, and oh, I'm sure my butt's big in this and that sort of thing, then it's just going to enable them to feel comfortable in doing that. So be a different voice. Does that help? Oh, Gabby says you're so cool, Dino. All right, so I think that's about, if anyone else wants to share. Glenn, are you coming in? Let me unmute you. Can you unmute yourself, Glenn? Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Can you hear me all right?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, my three were fat, loser, and fake. I was just writing down the three for my loved one, and that would be respected, happy, and loved.
Awesome. I can relate to that one because that fake one is something that pops up for me quite a lot. And interestingly, one of my values is to be authentic. So it's no surprise that that's going to be the attack on my heart, that I want to live an authentic life. I want to be reliable. I want to be congruent. I want to be loyal. So whenever I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable, that would be the thing that would try and take me down. So understanding and I guess having regular language to yourself of the alternative. And that's going to be a bit personal how you do that. And I think we could probably be more deliberate in how we speak to ourselves. If you're a words person, say it to yourself in the mirror. Or if you need to write it down somewhere that you're going to see it, because I don't love to sit there and talk to myself in the mirror. It wouldn't really work so much for me. But if it was written in words, then I think that I would see frequently, I would probably absorb it more. So perhaps that's something you could do, is write down those words, but for your loved one, but the things is particular, the things that you would want your loved one to say to you, that you would hope that that's what you're shining bright in. Have them written somewhere, speak them over yourself quite frequently, so that if they were to turn around and say that to you, then you would just accept it. You would graciously, you'd be able to go, oh, thanks, or you just go, sweet, and then you don't have that sort of resistance where you're just brushing them off all the time. Be more open and more receptive, and then our community stays connected, because if we're brushing people off because we don't believe what they're saying, the community stays broken. Cool. You're not fake, you're a legend. That's cool. Anyone else? Oh, I've got a new message. I share next. Gab, can we see your beautiful face? I've asked you to unmute.
Hello, hello.
Hi, I can't see you.
Hi.
There you are.
So my bad words were insecure, fat, and ashamed. So they're very nasty words. But the good words I have for myself are love, loyal, and genuine.
Excellent. How do you feel about them saying them over yourself?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, good.
Good.
Like, my journey's been pretty great so far, but when I was in those bad, negative times, those insecure, fat, ashamed was just a lot.
Yep.
So I feel like I attracted that. So now that I'm on like a more positive journey and a healthy, fit, and strong lifestyle with some amazing legends, all those love, loyal, and genuine people come along.
So do you find then in those moments, because would I be safe in assuming that you're still not immune to those days that you feel those, ashamed, and that, how quickly can you change that state?
Quicker than usual. Like back in the day, it would be like a whole week and I'll be like in bed and crippled over and fatigued and whatever. But I think I've learned from the best that it's just, you feel those feels and then you need to snap out of it, get huffy puffy, 10 seconds, whatever it is, and it completely changes your mood. So I agree with that. 10 seconds, boom, mic drop.
Mic drop, you just hosted the whole session in like one success. Happy puppy. It was the whole process of learning that's a powerful part of the process. Because how much
been times that I've called either you or Sheridan, I'm like crying, going, oh my God, like my fat day. And like every time he's like, right, put the phone down and go for a run or toe taps or something really fast. And it literally just takes your whole mind off the bad modes, like you're fat, you're this, you're that. Even though you know, whatever, you be chunky or whatever, you totally forget about that. You just get on with it. But yeah, love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Gab. Present to your world so much better after you've done that. And that's a missing link. It's a missing link. And Melinda, I'd be interested to know that friend who is always talking negatively about herself, how active, I'm assuming it's a her, how active is that person? If they're not active, then that's what you should encourage them to be, super, super active, so that they then have some physiological changes, and that also helps with thought processes as well. And it helps us to be able to then just quickly change our state. But it's all about wanting to loving our world and not hiding ourselves. So be out there. And that's when we start to kick goals. That's when we start to set big goals. That's when we start to live large, when we just have that self-belief. And it all starts early on in a process of totally just starting to exercise one step at a time, building on it, being consistent, building a love for it, trusting that it's going to be there and show up for you. Melinda, you just commented going, excellent. I've encouraged her with a 10-second huffy puffy. Just keep encouraging her. Invite her to join you, invite her to level up a little bit more. If the 10-second huffy puffy then starts not being enough, start leveling up, because that'll start to be something that she wants to build on. And that'll also start to be something that she'll crave, because how many of us now feel worse if we haven't moved? Yeah. So that's what our world needs to experience. They need to experience that thirst and that hunger to move. And then when we have moved, we just are different. And also, I just wanted to add to that whole, when we get up and we present ourselves to our day, there's our corridor is quite long. I'm not sure if everyone can see Dean's view. I have this real thing about the fact that how am I going to walk out of that door? And if I meet one of my kids down that hallway, which one do I want them to see on my shirt? I don't want them to see fat, old, ugly, tired. That's not fair to them. It's just gonna transfer onto them, and it's going to be something that it's okay for them to say to themselves. And it should never be okay. So if we can't think about those things for ourselves, how about we think about our loved one, seeing that stuff on ourselves and how they feel? It should be enough for us to change some of the things that we're saying to ourselves, so that we're presenting to our world a bit better and sweeter. Nice. Oh, thank you, Gab. It's a round of applause. Is that a dad joke? Well, I'm out. Is everyone else out? Thanks for joining us, fellas, and for being here on almost a female-dominated topic. But you like totally contributed. It's so cool and interesting that you both had very similar feelings, because you're not losers. Man, you guys, you are kings. You are absolute kings in your world. And I just hope that you really feel strong and feel totally like how much you're providing for your world and your family. I really hope and pray that that's something that you feel strong in your hearts. So speak it over yourselves, kings. Good night, everyone. Thanks for your time. Now I've got to work out how to stop this thing. Ta-da.